I'm here today with Cabo Vegan. And this is, like we said, our first show that we're doing. We're going to small businesses and really promoting what we have in Brockton, which I think is phenomenal. And I'll admit, don't know anything about vegan food as we discussed, but I'm here to really learn and also tell a little bit to Brockton and the audience and the people out there to really let them know a little bit about. The first question I really have is there a difference between the vegan and vegetarian? How are they similar and different? Just and then I want to hear all the story. How can Cabo Verde now becomes Cabo Vegan and all of that? But yes.
Well, that's that part. That's a good question. Vegetarian, vegan, plant-based labels. Vegetarian is more you. Wait, what am I trying to say? Vegetarian is you love animals, you support the animals, but I don't want to say but. You still consume animals, like you would have eggs, but you're not killing the chicken to have the egg. You would have dairy, but you're not, harming the cow to have milk. So that's the difference with vegetarians and vegans. Where vegans will stay away from it all, even like leather. Like I have this vegan leather coat that someone gave me like 20 years ago. It's in my closet. I was like, I can never wear this. Where vegans won't do, leather, shoe, anything that comes from animals, they just won't touch. Animal byproducts. And plant-based is you just live a plant-based lifestyle. Like you'll eat plant-based food, but you'll still wear leather shoes or, I mean, to each their own.
Not necessarily, but yeah, it's it's mainly for the diet. So folks that might identify with being plant-based will eat exactly what a vegan eats. Vegans happen to have a plant-based diet because the only thing that they eat comes from plants. They don't take in any dairy, like she said, or any butter, or any of the products that they consume don't contain that. In doing that, there's zero cholesterol in your diet, so they have that in common. Whereas vegetarians still have eggs and still have cheese and things that have cholesterol in it. So that's the big difference in terms of the health-wise, but also just mainly as a diet. Veganism isn't necessarily a diet; it's a lifestyle. So it goes a little bit further beyond just what we're eating and things of that nature.
Good job, babe. Said it better.
Perfect. Now we have the mom here, Idalina. You want to say hello?
Say hi, Mom.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
So you're part of this project too, because I feel like this is really a family-owned business where everybody is really taking part and doing. So tell us, how did Cabo Vegan come to be here today? Like, where's this dream? And tell us. I know you told a little bit of the story when we were here for the ribbon cutting, and I think it's nice to share that to the people.
I just wanted to say, when I met him, he mentioned something about like opening up a restaurant. But at the time, we were not fully vegans. We were just dabbing in it. But this is something he dreamed about a long time ago in my mind. I was like, I'm not gonna open a restaurant. Like, no, we're just gonna go to work like normal people. It's easier for me. And then COVID happened, so it was something that he was just like, so what do we do now? And I got let go from my job, and he got let go from his job, and then it just so happens that one day he had a friend who had people moving to Brockton or whatever, and they're like, hey, there's no vegan restaurants around. What can I serve my friend? And he was just like, oh, we'll cook something for them. And that's what it was. We ended up making a meal for them, and she was just like, oh my God. And she posted it, and it just kind of went viral. Then his brother posted something, and it went viral, and it kind of just prompted us to be like, we need this here. Like, we've always wanted to do it. Now we need it. And I remember just working in Holbrook and telling patients about it, and they're like, Brockton's not the place to open up a restaurant. They used to say that to me to the point I came home, I'm like, I don't think we can do this. And he's like, don't get discouraged. But I was really like, we can't. People saying Brockton. People's like, oh, go outside of Brockton. Do like Abington even, Weymouth, but not in Brockton. But here we are.
Also, around that time, we started traveling a lot. I picked up a job at JetBlue, and we started traveling to all these different places. So every single one of our travels were pretty much inspired around which vegan restaurants we can visit. So we've gone to a lot of different places in the world, even from Colombia to, Cuba to Mexico. So, and everywhere we go, we always, try to figure. We take in from those experiences all these different ways that we can bring this plant-based, lifestyle or inspire. And one of the most interesting part of it, I think, is that we're blending the Cape Verdean cuisine into our vegan, menu, which literally puts us as like the only Cape Verdean vegan place on Earth, which is pretty exciting. We hope that there will be many more vegan places. We're only here for a short time, and there's no time to compete, in terms of when it comes to changing people's lives. The more the merrier, the more folks turn vegan, and it's happening fast. There's this explosion of veganism happening. In the last 7 years, veganism expanded to about in 30-fold. So that's a whole lot of vegans, and there's not enough restaurants to meet the demand. So we're here for it, and we're excited.
And I just love tradition Cape Verdean food. Like, my mom knows. She was just like, no, you guys are not eating out. There's food at home, pots and pans, like rice and beans. So I love that. Like, I love home cooked meals. So that's what I want to bring.
So yeah, that's what she brings. Let me explain something to you about the food. So everything, like I was explaining to you earlier, it's really all about the seasoning. Because if you wouldn't eat a chicken when it's feathered, you wouldn't eat it after it's feathered, after you even, let's just say I boil it and give it to you. If you're not going to eat that until you season it, realize that every seasoning that you put on it comes from plants. Onions, garlics, peppers, paprika, like whatever you put on your food is plant-based, and you're just covering that taste, because that's what we really want. And
let them know they're masking death.
yeah. So, masking the taste of death. Anyway, but no, it's seriously, like, we used to eat meat, so we're not the preachy vegans. We understand what it's like, so that's why we create these dishes that one would say would mimic meat, but it doesn't, because meat by itself, without any vegan seasoning, is not considered food.
Yeah.
So whereas we're taking food that's already considered food and adding extra seasoning to it, and people, from what I'm getting, it makes people happy to eat tasty food. And I just want to say also,
say it tastes like chicken, but it's not chicken.
There is no degree that you can go to. There's no school, there's no university to pick up on the levels of recipes and experience that she got from her mom, her mom's mom. That only happens through this, this beautiful family that is tightly knit, and they held a lot of the traditional ways of cooking, and and as far as that's the Cape Verdean side. That's why her cachupa is so amazing, and but in terms of the vegan food, a lot of that is trial and error. And there's also no university that can mess up as much plates as we messed up and fixed it and tweaked it. And I think that's the base of kind of our culinary experience. When we get asked if we have culinary experience, I have to say yes, because all we do, down to science, is experiment different quantities and different amounts until we get it right. And when you're that passionate about it, and I feel like I would have only been this passionate about it because it's healthy and it actually makes people good. She teaches me.
It's like going to class and then I make the cake wrong and the teacher gives me a bad grade and I'm coming home with anxiety like, oh my gosh. He does it to me here. Like, he's like, don't you ever do that again. That's
It's the only time I ever keep it 100%.
Only time he criticized
Other than that,
me.
it's a happy wife, a happy life all the time. Okay, hon, yep. But when it comes to the food, I am brutally honest, only because I know what she's capable of, and
Thanks, babe.
One thing that you said was that all of this came to be during the pandemic because you were let go from your job, and what can we do? So it was essentially that blessing in disguise. It was really something,
was.
that moment in your life that, okay, now we need to reinvent ourselves. And I feel that is what happened to a lot of people during the pandemic. So they're completely switching their jobs and doing something that they would never done otherwise. So it was amazing that you shared that story, because we see so many bad, sad things happen during the pandemic. We all been hit very bad. But when we see something positive, it's something to really celebrate. But now I want to hear from you. Tell me, when your daughter came home and said, we're opening this vegan restaurant, the Cabo Vegan, what was your first reaction to it? Tell us. We want to hear from you.
Hi. When she spoke to me, she's gonna open Cabo Vegan. I am so happy. I said, "Whoa, this is a new in this city of Brockton. No Cabo Vegans around. You guys, the first people to open the business, to help people live healthy, and know how to manage food in their life."
Yes. Yes.
So I'm so happy. I wish them good business, and then grow up more, and then explain to people how to live their life with the food.
Mama.
She did. She was very supportive. I'm just gonna go back, Ma. Except when I told her I'm vegan, she was just like, "What? How? You can't. Like the whole family survived on your grandparents." I was like, "It's new, Ma. We're just going to change how we eat." And she, it was education. It's unlearning what you've learned. Did I say it right?
Yeah. It takes an unlearning sometimes, just because we were raised on milk does your body good. You should eat a lot of meat because it has protein in it. The study's out. We're not in a place where we're still debating those things. Now we can use caution and say, let's just do this. Let's have less of it. And that's how the norm changes. It doesn't change overnight. But I am confident that today we're saying, I'm just going to eat a little bit less meat. But in a decade or even a little bit, more than that, I can picture a world where folks are saying, I can't believe we used to eat dead animals.
It's dead.
When you say it that way, it comes off as a little bit, harsh for folks that are still eating it, because obviously that you're still eating it. But do remember there was a time where people were smoking cigarettes in airplanes. There was a time when we can go way back, when if you suggested that women should vote, people would be up in arms and like, "What? That's not normal. What are you, crazy? What are you trying to ruin this country?" And we're in a much different place today, even when it comes to veganism, because 5-7 years ago you couldn't find the milks and the cheeses and the products and the tofu and everything that you could find now. So all the plant-based products that are coming out of nowhere, to mimic what we've already taken and mimicked as food.
One more thing to say. When my friends were like, when I first told them, they're like, "How do you get your protein?" First of all, when did protein become an issue? And then it was just like, you need your protein from the cow. What do cows eat? Cows are vegans. Like, they don't eat another animal. They eat grass all day. So it's just like, skip the middleman and get straight to the protein.
Cows, gorillas. Before you come and ask
Elephants.
us where they get the protein, elephants. Nobody's asking an elephant where they get the protein. 100% vegan. We could go on and on. Giraffes, rhinoceros. But yeah, I think we're beyond that.
And people say lions. We're not lions. They've been to eat that.
So I think people are starting to get it, and we didn't always get it. So we're not in a position to be like, oh, well,
No.
and there's still
each their own.
we're still evolving. I'd like, because I know, in fact, that the most healthiest way you can eat is a raw vegan diet, but we're not there yet. So there's steps to it, and as the
now,
world
just-
changes, we're here for it.
Animals are for the earth. Like, you shouldn't be eating. I don't want to say it that way. Like living beings, like living like in the ocean, where the ocean is there. People swim in the ocean, whatever we do in the ocean. Those crustaceans are meant to clean the ocean. They're for the environment. Like, we're not supposed to be eating that. I think. Like, I'm not a doctor. Don't come for me. But I don't think we should be eating that. You shouldn't go and grab the shrimp from the ocean. First of all, you have to do all that work, to environment. You have to go get the shrimp. Now you got to come cook it. The shrimp is meant to clean the ocean. That's what it's there for. There's pollution everywhere. Same thing with the animals on land. They're here for a reason. They're here to, like, cultivate and manure and, all that. I'm not going to get into it. But that's what they're supposed to do. So we shouldn't be eating them.
So now, after I've been preached about the vegan lifestyle, I'm ready to try the food. So we need to. Impressively very delicious. And it's amazing. I can eat it and it's really, really delicious. And it really, you wouldn't tell the difference. So it's wow.
You know what heart of palm is, right?
Yes, palmito. That's what it
That's the base.
It's palmito.
Wow.
And the base for the
I
tuna
do
is
know what that is.
chickpeas. So it's loaded with protein. That's loaded with iodine.
She has that is probably one of our most nutritious ones.
It's
And
really
Wow.
is. You wouldn't think of it
Yeah.
until I started doing it. I was like, this is really good for, like, thyroid. Again, I'm
Yes.
a doctor. But it's loaded with iodine, potassium, magnesium. Because, those are actually sea vegetables. Like, we have land vegetables where there's lettuce in there. But in the sea, they have the nori, they have the wakame, they have dulce flakes
Nori flakes.
that I didn't even know existed. And that's what fish feeds off of. So why eat the fish again? Like, skip the middleman and get right to the source.
There we go.
Awesome.
Well, we just tried the tuna, which we found out is made out of chickpeas base. It was delicious.
Thank you.
Delicious. We made it. We tried it. We loved it. And
We all
thank you so
survived. No animals were harmed.
We all survived. Thank you so much for what you guys do. This is amazing.
Thank you, Rita.
Amazing.